My parents, you know, said that kid's going to play the piano, and we're going to have music in the house all the time, and we did. During the week, my mother's music, which was the Broadway repertoire, I remember that. Ethel Merman, Mary Martin, that Carnegie Hall album very well. South Pacific, you know, cast album. Also her classical music, she loved Chopin. I took piano lessons as a kid. And then my dad, on Sundays, when it was time for him to relax, he was a very conservative lawyer in this small town of Thunder Bay, Ontario. But he loved the hippest jazz and the great jazz vocalists. And on Sundays he would play Billy Eckstine, and he would play Ray Charles and Sarah Vaughan, and those were his three favorites, the triumvirate, and that music seeped in as well. There were my influences. And then when I started getting old enough to go out, well, there was a Canadian band called the Guess Who, and they were from Winnipeg, Manitoba, the next town over, which meant that I got to see them all the time when they were on their way home from their tours. And they were, before they started having hits like American Woman and such, they were the most wonderful cover band. In other words, they crisscrossed Canada doing just covers and providing a totally satisfying evening of entertainment, just doing everybody else's music. But they were wonderful mimics, and when they did a Beatles song, they sounded like the Beatles.
And that was Randy Bachman's band?
Yes, and Burton Cummings was the vocalist. And when they sounded, when they did Georgie Fame, that's what they sounded like. When they did Sam and Dave, they sounded like that. And I think that was a major influence, and maybe that's why I really only wrote one song in my life. All I wanted to do was what they did, just play the songs that they loved. So they were a great influence.